Hey folks, I'm meteorologist Matt Barentine. Of course, all eyes are on Ian down here in the Caribbean. Here's the high resolution 3D satellite imagery really showing this storm. It's been sort of holding steady all day long on our Saturday. Likely will really begin to start growing on our Sunday as it moves into some better areas for development here through the central part of the Caribbean. Tonight, winds of 45 miles per hour, moving to the west at 14. Here's what we expect it to do. It's going to make a turn towards north. It's going to strengthen and likely will start strengthening rapidly once it hits the northwestern Caribbean. The conditions there are essentially perfect. It could even grow into a Category 4 storm with winds of around 130 miles per hour. Now here's the official forecast track for the National Hurricane Center. It has been adjusted throughout the day a little bit more off to the west. Right now the center track is more into what we call the Big Bend region of Florida, but you do notice that parts of our area do get in on the left side of this track 5 days out. So it's something to keep in mind. Don't be scared. Be prepared and start thinking about this, particularly if you live in the Panhandle, that you could be seeing some conditions here from this storm. Here are the models. You can see there they go from about Tampa all the way over to Mobile. I'll tell you our models that have the highest credibility are going from about Panama City to Tampa. Okay, so not the ones that are coming over here are the ones that aren't terribly good. So don't get scared. Just be prepared and just be aware that we still have a pretty wide area here that could be hit by this storm. Here's the futurecast. I've actually got two models layered on here, the European in the green, and underneath that in blue is the American GFS model. And they're seeing basically two different things here as we head into the upcoming week. Here's Wednesday morning. This blue swirl, that's the American model. This green swirl, that's the European model. And the European model takes it more over towards Tampa. Meanwhile, the American model wants to bring it almost due north towards us. And a lot of this will depend. Which model will be right will depend on this cold front right here. The European seeing that cold front as being stronger, pushing it over into the peninsula of Florida. The American model is seeing this front as weaker, and it's just pushing north and pushing that front out of the way. That's Thursday afternoon. You can see the difference here, and this will make a huge difference to our forecast, whether it makes landfall over here around Tampa on the west coast of Florida, or if it came almost up around Panama City or Destin. Obviously, a big difference here for us. With this sort of thing, we'll get very little out of the storm except for just some strong northerly winds. It comes over here, and then we're talking much more significant impacts from this late next week. So which one of those solutions is right? Don't know exactly yet, but you do notice that the National Hurricane Center is following more along with that European model there in the green off to our east. All right, so our impacts, what we know so far, Thursday and Friday, we'll expect these winds really to pick up out of the north, 25 to 35 miles per hour, sometimes stronger, particularly off to the east. Rough surf, big waves, extreme rip current risk, obviously, and of course those uncertainties remain, so we need to be prepared any farther west with this, and we could see the impacts on the increase. So all that, keep in mind here. Looking at the outlook, so tomorrow, your Sunday, is just going to be a hot day. Monday, a cold front comes through. Conditions look pretty nice Tuesday and Wednesday. And then, of course, here come the question marks towards the end of the week. Do we or don't we get into any bit of Ian? We may get some outer rain bands or we may not, just depending on how far east it is. And you can see the temperatures being much cooler next week as well.